Okay, what you're seeing here is that I have opened a remote desktop session to the Network Sentry on one of the sites. In this case, it's the concrete site over on the west side. You'll see, looking at the desktop there, you can see the host name is Region 61, Site 28, U1 NWS, or Network Sentry. Once I've logged in and everything's settled down on the desktop, then I'm going to double click on the NWS viewer, which should open a Harris snap-in viewer. At this point, I'm going to expand Harris and expand Network Sentry, then expand monitoring. And we're interested in IOs, of course. Now, the multicoupler unit, or MCU, the ones they've shipped us only have a relay, a contact closure to give us an alarm. Therefore, those are a digital input. They're either open or closed. It's not an analog input that would be measuring a voltage or a current. There's been some confusion about that, so that's why I mention it. So we then click on digital inputs, and really we only care about input number 1 or input number 2. You'll see they're mostly inactive except for beyond 40. We don't care about any of those. All you're doing here is you're going to first off verify that your Network Sentry cable functions properly, and then secondly, you're going to verify the digital input that changes states when the MCU goes into alarm. Depending on how you've wired that cable, it could be digital input 1, digital input 2, whatever. So you just want to verify that because you're going to need to know for certain which digital input to program using Device Manager. That'll be a different video, but I can't test it for you here because I'm not on site. But you see that digital input 1 and 2 are inactive, so what you could do, if you were on site and had that cable plugged in, would be just to remove power from the multicoupler unit. Then you'd click refresh right here on the bottom, and you'll see this scroll bar is kind of doing its thing. It takes a while to refresh these inputs. It's kind of a slow device, but you see this message here along the bottom has reappeared. So now it's showing all of these inputs. If this had been a real test, and we had pulled that power plug, you would now see either digital input 1 or 2, whichever you've wired, will have changed to the active state. Anyway, then you would plug in power, you could hit refresh again and verify that it changed state. When you're done, simply close that, go down to the Windows button there on the lower left, right click, select shutdown or sign out, and sign out of the device.